In this video, we will be discussing statistics and the distribution of data. We'll be focusing on dot plots. By the end of this video, you will be able to construct a dot plot. So first of all, a review of what frequency means. Frequency means how often something happens. A frequency table is a simple way to organize and display how often something happens. So here we have the quiz grades below represent the students in Mr. Avery's history class of 85, 75, 70, 70, 80, 85, 85, 70, 95, and 75. So we need to organize this to create our dot plot. So we're going to use this frequency table here. And I've got 85. So I'm going to make a tally for 85. I've got 75. And I'm going to cross these off as I go. So 75, 70, another 70, an 80, an 85, another 85, a 70, a 95, and another 75. So now I count up my tallies. So I have 3 and 2 and 1 and 3 and 0 and 1. So my frequency for each of the quiz grades is showed here in this column. So now a review of dot plots. Remember, a dot plot uses dots to represent data. It displays data on a number line, shows frequency of individual values, and shows the shape or distribution of the data. So the frequency here that it's going to show is going to come from our frequency table. Our number line is down here below, so we have to label our graph. And so we need to label that as quiz scores or quiz grades. And we get that information from right here. And then looking at here, I've got 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, and I've got one more, so I'll put 100. And I get those numbers from right here. Now, my frequency says how many dots I'm going to put above each number. So 70 has 3, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. And we want to get them in a straight vertical line. So everything's lined up nice and straight vertically. Then when I go to 75, I want my dots to also line up horizontally. So when my 75, I'm going to put here and then here. So then when I start to compare and look at the distribution of the data, everything's lined up both horizontally and vertically. So it's easier to tell what data is there on the graph. And now I go to 80, which has 1. And then 85 has 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. 90 did not have any, so there's a gap there. And then 95 has 1. So there is my dot plot for Mr. Avery's history class quiz grades. Go to the next one here. It says 15 customers in a pizza shop were asked, how many toppings did you add to your cheese pizza? Their responses are shown in the table. So I have my table right here of responses, and now I need to create a frequency table. Well, I noticed that my smallest amount here looking at it is zeros. So I'm going to have 0, and then 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm just going to go through again and make my tallies. So I've got a 1 here, a 2, another 1, a 3, a 0, another 1, another 1, a 2, a 0, a 3, and then a 0, and a 0, another 1, another 2, and another 2. So here's my frequency table, and for 0, I have 4. For 1 topping added, I have 5. For 2, again, I have 4, and then for 3, I have 2. Now I create my dot plot, and again, I need to label it. So I'm going to say number of toppings added. And again, I get that from my first column here. And then I look at my numbers and I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I get those numbers from right here. And at 0, I have 4. So I'm going to put 4 dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, lining them up vertically. And then I look at 1. And so now I need to line up horizontally and vertically. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 has 4. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 has 2. So I go 1, 2. There's my dot plot to represent how many toppings did the customers add to their cheese pizzas.